It has been about a week since the launch of Marathon, Bungie's newest game, and with its launch, there has been a sea of angry sentiment surrounding the game, most of which I think is pretty silly. We're going to be looking at the three main angles people are coming from, two of which I think are pretty silly, but one I do kind of agree with. Last, we'll be taking an honest look at Marathon's launch and why, in my mind, I think it was actually pretty good. Now, the first angle people are coming at the game from is the Steam numbers angle. Now, if you are unaware, Steam has the ability for people to tap into its background system, and it allows people to actually see how many people are playing certain games. It allows people to see reviews, how many people are in the game, and a bunch of other things. But with these websites coming out over time, this is essentially turned into a dick measuring contest to see which games have the most amount of numbers and why the game I hate has less numbers than the game I love. Now, this has been, I think, the main thing people are pointing out with Marathon. I've seen a lot of people saying, well, look at the Steam numbers for Marathon. They're going down. They're not good. And so that means Marathon is bad because there's not many people playing, even though that doesn't really make much sense. And a lot of the time, especially with Marathon, games will be compared to other games that released in the same release window. Marathon released Friday of last week. Another game that came out was Slay the Spire 2. This was also released on the same day. And a lot of people are taking these two and putting them up against each other to show off why Marathon's actually bad, because look at how many people are playing Slay the Spire 2. I think what this is people not understanding or potentially ignoring the fact that different genres of games appeal to different people. And Marathon, it being an extraction PvP shooter, is different than a PvE roguelike game, Slay the Spire. And Slay the Spire being literally the game that put card games, this iteration of card games, in the market. This is the game that made all these other devs start making card games. This is it, this series. Obviously, this is going to be big, but because Slay the Spire 2 has more players, that means Marathon's bad? No, obviously not. That's a child's argument. If someone were to go and say, hey, this Marvel movie, a lot more people saw this Marvel movie than this rom-com, and then saying, hey, this Marvel movie was better than this rom-com, that doesn't make any sense. Or someone saying, hey, a lot more people eat pizza than cheeseburgers, and that means pizza's better than cheeseburgers. Essentially what it is, it's the argument a 12-year-old would make. And so people not understanding that, hey, Slay the Spire 2 is a drastically different game than Marathon, people not understanding that or purposely misunderstanding that is kind of ridiculous. And this is from what I've seen, the main vector people are using to attack the game Marathon. And not just that, I have seen countless tweets of people showing off like, oh, hey, look at this specific time on the Steam charts. There's not many people playing. Marathon's dead. And it's like, okay, let's just take that argument at face value. Okay, sure, Marathon's dead. So like, what's the goal here? How do you, the person tweeting, benefit from the game dying other than just getting clicks from rage bait, which is all that really is? And let's say the game fails. Let's say Marathon crashes and burns. It goes to 0 people playing, which it hasn't. It has 50,000 people, which is pretty good. How do you win? How do you win in this equation? Okay, it failed. All right, move on. Like, is that it? Is there no like goal with this? Is it really just clickbaiting? This is what I think. I think people, these types of people and there's a lot of people I've seen in YouTube comments and Twitch chats and YouTube live streams and, you know, different YouTube comments on Twitter, people kind of rooting for this game to fail. And I think what it is, legitimately, people are junkies with no worldview, chasing after a high of being correct for the first time in their sad lives. Now, correct about what? We'll get to that in a second, but we're going to move on to our next angle, which I understand more, and I think this is a bit fairer of an angle at which people are coming from. The Destiny 2 angle.
I don't relish doing business with these leeches, but we need to find out what the Dredgen are after.
You crave justice.
I'm a player of Destiny 2. I've played Destiny 1. I'm a Destiny 1 alpha vet. You want to say that? If you know, you know, that archetype of person. So Destiny, if you don't know about it, was Bungie's third franchise that they made. First, it was Marathon all the way back when. Then it was Halo, and then it was Destiny. Now, Destiny, the franchise, has been around for 10 years at this point. I think this year might be 10 years. Or maybe that might be Destiny 2. That might be Destiny 2. Oh, wow. Regardless, the Destiny franchise has been around for a long time. So Destiny being a franchise, a lot of people have gotten very connected with. A lot of people have kind of made their whole existence Destiny. I was like that for literally years. The only thing I would play for years on end was Destiny 2 specifically. And so with Bungie, we can say moving on to another franchise, you know, it's not a new one, it's Marathon, it's their first one. Bungie essentially moving on, a lot of people feel abandoned. I've seen this sentiment in tons of places on Twitter, live streams, YouTube comments, where people are saying, I can't believe Bungie abandoned Destiny for this, for Marathon. I can't believe it. Why would they do this? Destiny was their bread and butter. That's where they made all their money. That's where they got, you know, that's what made them what they are now. Why are they abandoning the game? Why are they abandoning me? Now, that's one of the kind of side angles with the with this hatred towards Marathon. I think another smaller thing, not as much as the feeling of abandonment, but an important thing is that there's a lot of parts of Marathon that Destiny 2 players have been asking for. I think of the dedicated servers. I think a lot of the battle pass system in Marathon, which is copying how Halo Infinite's battle pass worked, how Helldiver's battle pass worked, where it stays in perpetuity. It doesn't go away. So you can kind of buy them as you go. It's I wouldn't say it's an a la carte kind of thing. So in 4 or 5 years, those old battle passes from launch are still going to be there. And that's just not how it was with Destiny 2. And I think about the store as well. I think about some other things as well. So Marathon has a battle pass like we were just talking about. But in the battle pass, when it first launched, there was only one skin in the battle pass. So on Marathon's launch, this was actually this skin right here was the only skin in the battle pass. Now that sounds pretty bad, but with coming from Destiny, this type of problem would have literally just been left to kind of fester. The problem where a lot of people feel as if the battle pass wasn't worth it. Now this is an article from Kotaku, you know, think what you want about them, but woof, the Marathon battle pass is bad. This is a sentiment I've seen too. I've seen shorts about it. I've seen other comments on it. This sentiment was a thing that a lot of people had. The Marathon battle pass just wasn't good enough. And so something that I thought was unique that Destiny players never would have gotten, Bungie, the Marathon development team, came out and did an update to the battle pass within, I think, not even a week. It was a couple days, introducing new skins for every single shell in the game, making sure every single player has a skin that they can equip from the battle pass. Not just that, but I was scrolling through the comments. Someone said, this looks incredible. WTF, keep cooking, Bungie. And then Marathon development team came out with an updated version of the gun of the gun skin they were going to be adding. I have never, ever seen Bungie be this reactive to community sentiment. And I think that thing, and this has been a problem going back from Destiny 1. If you weren't around during Destiny 1, the communication that Bungie had with the community was frankly bad. It was not good. With the launch of Destiny 2, it improved quite a lot. I think the team was expanded, and there was a bunch of other people added to the team to make it a bit better. But this type of thing right here, this is even more so. Not only has the Marathon development team, or at least one of the official Bungie accounts, been pretty active on Twitter, this right here is something that shocked even me, that how quickly they came out and was like, hey, by the way, we're adding a bunch of new skins. And now we could say, hey, these are just reskins. That's fine. Okay. But coming from someone who's played Destiny 2, this is very, very unique. And so I think that is another reason why there are people that are upset at how Marathon is being handled compared to how Destiny has been handled for the past over 10 years, Destiny 2 specifically over the past 10 years. And so jumping into our third angle, and this is going to get back to where we left off on the Steam numbers angle, it is the Concord Angle.
We're the free gunner crew of the North Star. And together, we're going to make our mark on this galaxy.
Now, if you don't know about Concord, Concord was another Sony game. It was a hero. It was an arena shooter, a hero arena shooter that essentially flopped on launch. It had a budget of $200 million and essentially flopped within. It lasted 2 weeks before being shut down. Not just that, but the studio itself was also shut down. And this studio was actually made up of a bunch of ex-Bungie devs. And this was a massive, massive, massive failure. And the hate campaign that was on this game before its launch, I think is another silly thing that happened. Regardless, I think a lot of people were literally one shot by this launch. This game failed so badly. Not just did it fail badly, it failed when people wanted it to fail. People were desperate for the game to fail. Well, I guess I shouldn't say desperate. People really wanted the game to fail. They had a bunch of different reasons for hating it. And it happened. It actually happened. The game shuttered. It went down. Not just that, but the studio who made it also shut down. And I think what this did to people is it gave them this insane high of saying, oh, I can compare every game to Concord. Every game that I don't personally like, I can call it Concord 2. The same thing with High Guard, if we know about High Guard. So High Guard was another one of these hero arena shooters. It was a free-to-play, much like... actually, no. Concord wasn't free-to-play. It was you had to buy it. High Guard was different. It was a free-to-play, but it was also a hero arena shooter. High Guard, much like Concord, was a hero shooter. And it also, like Concord, had a massive hate train behind it. A lot of people seemingly were almost desperate for the game to fail. A lot of people at the time of launch were saying this is Concord 2. And I think this might have happened before High Guard, but from the failure that was Concord, a lot of games from now on are referred to as Concord 2. Whether about, is it going to be another High Guard? And it creates this very strange situation in which everybody, or these people, are constantly talking about every game failing. Every single game, they seemingly want to fail. And I think what this is, much like I was talking about earlier about people being junkies and not really having any reason to want these games to fail other than literally just being correct. Every game must fail and become the next Concord to chase the high that people got from Concord failing. Now, this might have started kind of happening before Concord, but I think the Steam numbers and people using Steam numbers as a dick measuring contest and Concord failing, these two forces have kind of come together. And I'm not going to get into it, but it's a very specific group. I'm not going to get into it. I think they're ridiculous, but they always want games to fail. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. They're not really even rooting for Slay the Spire. They see, hey, a lot of people are playing it. That must mean it's good. And they wanted Marathon to fail. It's like, well, look at Marathon's player numbers. Look at Slay the Spires. This one has more numbers. This number bigger number mean better than this bad game. Bad game bad because low number. Good game good because high number. That's it. That's it. These two angles, I think, are completely ridiculous. This doesn't even make any sense. This is a childlike, a 12-year-old's argument for why things should be this way. But like I was saying earlier, the people doing this have no worldview. They have no real reason to want this. It doesn't make any sense for someone to want a game to fail. It doesn't help them if a game fails. And like I was saying earlier, Marathon, it fails. Okay, then what? What do you get? How do you benefit from this other than getting a short high by seeing a tweet or watching your favorite slop tuber make some video about, see guys, we were right. Like, it's like, oh, okay, then what? Like you wake up the next day and what? That's it? Was it just for that day? We're going to move into our last angle. The angle, which is, I think Marathon's launch was actually pretty good. See, Marathon was a AAA game. Not just that, it was a multiplayer game. Not just that, it was a PvP game. It was interesting. And this is something that I haven't really seen much. Marathon launched with little to no server problems. I didn't really see anybody have problems. There was a problem, albeit, with some of the deluxe packs that people buy. If you bought the $70 version of the game, you didn't get your pack immediately. There was some problem there. There was another problem with the store where if you bought paid currency, you wouldn't get it, seemingly. That was fixed pretty quickly. But other than that, you could log into the game. There wasn't a queue. And haven't really been many bugs. There were a couple bugs that was just recently fixed in the last patch, but outside of that, there's not really many problems. And this is a lot different from a lot of AAA game launches. There's not really many problems outside of people just complaining about the gameplay itself. And not just this, not just the not many server problems, not just the little to no bugs at launch. The ones that were there have already been patched out. The game is only like less than 20 gigabytes in this day and age where seemingly game companies don't really feel a need to try to properly compress or properly take care of game file size. I mean, this is kind of crazy. Now, albeit it's not the biggest game ever. Okay, fine. But still, I would expect this game to be 50 gigabytes. It's, I don't even think barely 20. At least on Xbox, it was only about 18. And not just all that. On PC and on Xbox and PlayStation, seemingly there's performance is good. There's not lag spikes. For the most part, I know some people I've seen on PC have problems. This is hit or miss, depending on your system. On Xbox, I haven't had any problems. I haven't even had a game crash. I have had some, long server queue times getting into matches, but, that's not really that big of a problem. I had literally no other problems. So the launch of the game was great. I had no problems. I could get into the game. I could play the game. Playing the game, moving on to that, the gunplay's great. It feels great. Now, looking at it, you might not get that feeling, but playing it, you get that feeling. Gunplay's satisfying. It feels good to fight enemies. It feels good to run around. It feels good to loot. It feels good to open doors. It feels good to reload. And I think about it, and I think about shooting enemies and killing them, and I'm like, I want to keep doing that. I love the animation that plays, that little skull that pops up. It just feels great. And I will say the microtransaction store is pretty typical. There's shell skins, player skins, there's weapon skins, there's stickers, calling cards, profile pictures, and a skin is about $10, which, that's up to you whether you think that's high or low. Obviously, you don't ever have to buy any of them, but that seems pretty fair. Not just that. There was actually a complaint that people had with one of the packages that you could buy. There was a $9.99 package you could buy that gave you 1,100 Lux, which is the premium currency. Now, this at the start, it was a bit scummy because the 1,100 was not actually enough to buy a skin. It was very slightly short what you needed to buy the skin. And so in Destiny 2, this would have been ignored for probably about a week or two. But I think within a day or two, Bungie came out and said, yeah, hey, this was a mistake. We apologize. Yeah, so and this was in the article that Bungie posted about the updated Battle Pass. Lux, as a reminder, the $9.99 or regionally equivalent Lux bundle now grants 1,120 total Lux, up from the 1,100. Everyone who purchased this bundle prior to this change has been credited the 20 Lux per bundle purchase. So they went out and admitted that, hey, this was a mistake, and then they fixed it within a couple days. I think this change is now live. So within about a week of the launch, Bungie has already fixed a microtransaction problem that a lot of people were having complaints about. During the Destiny 2 era, this probably would have been a whole month. If not, they would have just deleted the $9.99 pack. There have been some times where they have done seemingly just incredibly greedy package drops, like microtransaction package drops, that they then delete after enough pushback. But they just kind of fix this within a week. Seemingly, they are very, very reactive to people's complaints, which I think is great. Here's another thing I wanted to bring up. The community, especially on Twitter, around this game has absolutely exploded. And one of the metrics that you can see for how well a game is going to do is the community that pops up around it. And the community for Marathon has absolutely exploded. You can find all types of different art. You could find I guess Marathon has a photo mode in the game. So there's accounts that are doing digital photography. Obviously, you have character art. People absolutely love the characters. This is the Thief Shell. There's tons of different discussions around the game, discussions around the lore and the meta game and all that. Tons of different art styles, tons of different digital photography. And I mean, this is the kind of metric that you look at to see how well a game is going to do over the long run. And seemingly, people love this art, the art style of the game. People absolutely love it. People are in love with it. And so this is the kind of thing that you have to look for when you think, hey, is the game going to do well in the long term? Highguard didn't really have this kind of thing. Concord didn't really have this kind of thing. And here's one thing. If you've been around the internet for a while, and this is a Miku, Hatsune Miku fan art. This was great. Once a certain type of art is being made of the game and characters are being drawn and done in that way, usually the game has a very, very long staying power. If you think of games like Overwatch or Marvel Rivals with the female characters in those games, Marathon has seemingly had quite a lot of Yuri made of the game. This has popped up on my timeline. I have not tried to go look for this. It just pops up when you're in the marathon, when your algorithm is tuned to marathon. But anyway, something else I do want to also bring up that I actually haven't seen other people talk about, but also leads me to think that this has a lot of staying power. Marathon's not going anywhere. And that is, people are making websites solely just to catalog different things about Marathon. This is a specific website, composition0.pages.dev. This is a website that catalogs every single piece of art that Marathon or Bungie has ever released for the game. This has all of the profile banners, profile icons, profile pictures, everything. This has all the different contracts, logos. They have different codecs, weapon stickers, stills / in-game. This is something that I don't even think Arc Raiders has, or something like I don't even think Slay the Spire has, or other games of this type. I don't think these games have people going out of their ways to make whole websites solely dedicated to these types of games. So much so, there's a website that is fan-made that goes through the whole timeline of the Marathon universe. And this is pretty cool. And it goes through literally the whole history of Marathon. If you want, check it out. I'll put a link to it in the description. But it'll go through the whole. Now, I don't think, if people are making this kind of thing, I don't think this game's going to go anywhere. I think that this drama has been just ridiculous. I think, like I said before, this is just people wanting to hate on the game. This is people wanting to chase after that high of being correct, that high of being like, see, I knew it. I knew this thing was true. This trying to chase after that confirmation bias. Personally, I'm enjoying the game quite a lot. I think I'll make a separate video once I kind of get my full thoughts down and, I've kind of played more of the game. I was originally going to just release this video without having played the game, but I felt like that was a bit disingenuous. So I've been playing the game for about a week now. I've been trying to do a couple hours every night, do a bunch of runs, and I'm really enjoying it. I had a video where I was showing some of my worries for what the game had in store in the kind of gameplay loop that the game would have. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. And with that being said, I think we're done here. I'm going to go ahead and keep playing the game. I'm not too sure how many more videos I'll make on it. I do absolutely love the art of the game, and I will still keep talking about that. Last Sunday, we actually did a art study based on one of the art models that we got off that one website. We're going to be doing another one this Sunday, the 15th of March. So if you want to show up, you can. And with that being said, that's all I got to say. If you have any things you want to talk about, if you have any comments regarding the launch of Marathon, what you thought about it, what you thought about the drama surrounding Marathon's launch, let me know in the comments. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching.